I'm getting all the beeps and the dings. It looks like we are live. Welcome, everybody. Good to have you guys here on Thursday Night Live. I'm answering technical questions about StreamYard to another viewer known as Boone. And let's see what's up. Brett Hoopa is here. And good to have you here. He's cooking up dinner. So, and if you deliver, we had a Walmart pizza on purpose. They're not bad. So we cooked that up a little earlier.
So it wasn't on a dare? Or is it a Costco pizza that's on a dare?
Oh, those are good. Costco pizza is pretty good.
Costco pizza is good.
Yeah.
This is the market fresh. You get a little refrigerator by the door when you walk into Walmart and you cook it at home.
Okay.
But I mean, we spruced it up with extra toppings and yummy stuff, so it's good. So.
And meanwhile, Little Caesars is like, it's $5, take it or leave it.
Which you notice they don't even bother advertising anymore.
They don't care. They're like, we know it's not good. It's $5. Just come get it.
$5.
College student special.
Yeah.
High school, for that matter.
We have a little pizza joint that does that too. It's called Grand Slam Pizza, and they rub it up against some cheese before they cook it. That's about it, because it's the worst. No offense if they're watching, but I don't think they are. So how are you guys this evening? We have a lot of our friends at Brick Rodeo right now, and meeting up with some Brickmasters, and that's awesome. Brickanizer is here. That sums up our show. We are weird, but they like our money. Who we got here? Oh, we have Will in the chat. What's up, Will? How you doing?
What's up?
Be right back.
Mr. Galador himself. What's going on, man?
Well, I got a new Galador.
Let's see it.
It's an Elephant Man.
Oh, wow.
This guy was exclusive to, I think it was New Zealand. So I had to pick him up off eBay for like $90. But on Bricklink, there's only 2, and the cheapest one is like $3.15. So I did it one.
New Zealand get an exclusive?
I don't know. Australia got an exclusive too. So.
Well, I mean, I can see then, Australia, but I mean, like.
Yeah, right.
New Zealand?
Well, then he's got like a special arm too. That's a big laser cannon, which is kind of fun. He used to have armor that would cover up his questionable socket over there, but it didn't. Who in their right mind at Lego was like, let's put a socket on a dude right here? But I can put his weapon there for safekeeping.
Into that socket.
Yeah, I mean, that'll work for now, I guess. But the piece that covers it, you actually can't get, and I'm okay with having most of a dude for 90 as opposed to all of him for like 350. And that's also only in Europe, so yeah, not happening.
I have to admit that laser cannon thing is really cool.
Oh yeah, and this thing will just fit inside any like Technic piece too.
Oh,
it's rubber. It's kind of weird, but this thing, the core of it, is kind of fun.
Oh wow,
that is funky.
So yeah,
that's actually a usable bit.
Well, this is in another dude too, and that's one of my favorite Galador pieces.
Interesting.
But yeah, no. I also got a bunch of other weird stuff. Lego made these, like special pens.
I remember those.
I have
what was that? 2001
version.
Yeah, but like all these pieces are like shiny, transparent pieces in colors that Lego's never really made stuff in. So,
oh wow.
Thinking for like Sci-Fi City, you have those for all the lights.
Cool.
And they just look really cool.
That would be cool.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good deal. All right, how is life in the Lego store? Are the adult fans knocking down the door to buy Lego?
Not at the moment. Next week is gonna be crazy though.
Yeah, Sunday.
Because it's Sunday with the release of the Gunship and like 100 other sets.
109, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
I'm not opening that day, so thank God for that.
Yeah, 109 sets come out on that Sunday.
Will, look!
Yeah.
I have this in my. I found this in my Lego room.
That is something special right there. Not really. But
I have no. I don't even know why I have it. I just look at the dust. I found it. I don't know why I have this. I just thought you would appreciate it because you like the Bionicles.
That's probably worth quite a bit still in the box.
It's still sealed.
Dumb, but yeah.
Oh, somebody break link it right now. Let's see. What's the set number?
Refresh. Here we go. 8723.
8723.
8723.
Yeah, you guys look it up for me.
I'm guessing it's at least $50, but yeah.
If it's $50, I'm going to list it immediately.
Yeah. I don't have a computer on me. I just have an iPhone, so.
It'll be snapped out by the Bronicles.
They can have it. I'll be happy to accept their $50.
The Bronicles.
Is there a shot for that?
Let's see.
What now?
Is there a shot for when you've got Bionicles?
I thought this is what you have to scrape off your boat.
Ah, okay.
There is only one for sale anywhere, and it's $24. So,
That's a little disappointing.
Oh, that's too bad.
List yours at $50, and then when the $24 one sells, yours will be the only one available.
I think Rich is showing off his Bionicle.
Rich is flexing right now. Rich is flexing, everybody.
Oh, those are hilarious. I love those.
Those are also very out of focus.
A bulk buy, I got just like the head stem piece, which is fun. Are those the electric ones?
It could be a toothpaste for all the screen resolution I have.
So should we tell Rich that we can't actually hear him?
Nah, let's leave it the way it is.
Yeah, okay, we'll leave it the way it is.
Rich, do charades.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those are hilarious. I've got a Jack Stone toothbrush in my room somewhere. Just for the sake of having it. It's stupid because Jack Stone is the worst. But
Hello,
yeah.
Andrew's not yes, it is. Oh, there's a Jack Stone toothbrush. I think we had one of those. I don't know why.
Because you had a Jake?
No, that was well before Jake. I'm not sure why we had one of those.
Well, because you had a Chris.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, this is terrible. And it was terrible.
It is terrible. That's the city that I was growing up with.
I still got this guy hanging around.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Those are cool, yeah.
He ain't go fit.
I think I had an R2D2 pin, but I don't think it's still together.
I got a full set of the Bionicle ones, and no one actually has those on Bricklink. So I should see if someone wants those. But
OMG rare.
It's not that rare. It's just because I bought all of them. But yeah.
Gary Mullane from Ireland is here. We have a spike in our popularity in Ireland for some reason. So glad you're here, man. Good to see you. All right, let's do a quick spin through the room and see what everybody's up to. Magnus, I saw you post today. You are ready for Brick Fair. Is that correct?
I am getting ready for Brick Fair. I have done most of my heavy building. Whatever building I don't get done between now and Brick Fair is not that big of a deal, but the main challenge is going to figure out the packing, which includes a big castle this time that I haven't had to move before, so it'll be interesting.
So now, how long does it take you to get from Brick Fair where you live?
About 45 minutes.
God! That's it. I'm staying at Magnus's house next year.
Right?
So that's exciting. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they went ahead with it this year, but they did, and I'm vaccinated, so I'm gonna give it a go.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I hope the Delta variant stays to lower levels, but you never know. Oh, Red Carnage! Hello, Red Carnage!
Red Carnage!
In fact, I've missed Red Carnage that last week or two because I haven't been able to say Red Carnage. So, good to have you here, man. All right, Will, we've already talked to you, but tell us what you're up to, what you're building, what you're doing, what's up.
So a few months back, I bought one of the Chinese New Year sets, and I'm busting it out today. The Lantern Festival, the big one, yeah.
Yeah. Rom talking about being 45 minutes. It's close enough to feel guilty about getting a hotel room far enough away to be annoying.
That's exactly right.
I mean, that's the distance from us to BritCon, so.
Yeah,
I have the same problem with Dragon Con.
Yeah. Although in Atlanta, that's 30 extra minutes.
BritCon's happening this year too, so that's fun.
Yay. All right, so what you got? What you unpacking for us? Or you got something?
Oh, yeah. That one.
Ah. Did you get that off from Walmart, or did you get it from the store?
I got it from our store a while back, but yeah.
I got you.
I was too lazy to take it out.
I had seen where Walmart had discounted that 20% or something online. So that is an excellent set from what I understand. So
I actually have two of them.
Except for the bowl.
Jeff Van Winnen is pointing out the best play feature of that set.
Yeah.
Really, Lego? Come on.
You know, if you add
Only
that,
the best is good enough, and that's pretty good.
Touch the butt. Touch the butt.
if
So you
you
touch
do
the
that,
button,
the
like
prostate
that.
bowl
Okay.
exam plus the questionable socket on the Galador, we could shut this show down all together. You know, so
Isn't the connector on those light bricks kind of like a hex shape?
yes,
So it's kind of like the little starfish.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it adds even more flavor to the scenario.
Flavor.
I mean, I could just turn that around 180 degrees and it'll be in a better spot. But
Wait, show it again. Show it again.
okay. I'm gonna put the laser cannon there. And now you're set. Yeah.
Oh, good to see Will. Look,
Good job,
summoned
Lego.
him.
Good job
He did
running
it.
that.
Everybody's talking about questionable sockets, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, there's something like my mechanophallus sense was tingling, so I'm not going to tell you where it was tingling either.
That's going to cost you
It
an extra
tingles
couple
when it
dollars.
tingles. Just let it
Did you
tingle.
say taintling?
That's right.
It was taintling?
It tingles when it tangles. How's everyone?
good man. How are you? What's going on in your world?
Not a lot. A bunch of work, waiting for it to slow down, and on a toy front, not a whole lot. I'm waiting anxiously for next week because I want that Boba Fett's, involuntary guest transport ship thing. So
Have you not gotten one of the other several versions of it the last couple of years, or are you just wanting it specifically?
no, I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten one of them since the one before the UCS, which actually I liked a lot. I thought it was great. But the main reason why I want to get this one, other than I really love the ship, but also it feels like Lego has been watching me in my sleep and potentially the shower, hearing me rail about how things should be, slightly simpler, better price point. So I feel that I need to. I know. That's right, monkeys. So I need to support that with my hard-earned beaver bucks.
So what's the deal with this new? There's a new Slave 1 coming out, right? That's what we're talking about?
Yes.
And what is it about this that makes this one worth picking up for you?
For me, I like it because just for a lot of those reasons that I said, is that it's giving you a classic ship that, is popular kind of across the board. It's giving you two great figures and not a lot of extra crud you don't need. And it's making it, and it's got play features that don't get in the way. It's basically
Wait.
the rhubarb and all the right
Are you
places.
trying to say that no one needs Forlom and Zuckuss? They came
Nor
with-
Snaggletooth, nor I'm Wanted in 12 systems.
I mean,
no.
come on, they were in the 20th anniversary set, and I mean, Forlom and Zuckuss are they're a squad.
It's true. They are a squad. They are the quad squad.
Actually, there's a correction there. The Zuckuss was in the 20th anniversary set. The Forlom came in a speeder pack with
Boss.
Bosk and a couple of
I
other
never
dudes.
bought that speeder pack, so
Big
both
88 and then Dengar. Yeah.
Okay, those two guys are sitting over here next to my 20th anniversary set.
I'm just
I
saying.
never bought the speeder pack.
You didn't buy the speeder pack? I'm not sure how you got the Forlom.
Yeah, but I know how he got his Zuckus. But anyway.
Sucks to
And
suck.
you get rid of it with penicillin. And possibly a Lansing.
An antifungal will take care of that Zuckus right immediately. So. Anyway,
Feel that
wait,
Magnus
hey,
is
Chris,
looking into my brain.
just because it feels like Chris, your mom is a Zuckus.
oh, no, she's not. She's a 4.
Oh, I did
Anyway,
cover the Forlom. I stand corrected.
Yep.
Very nice, very nice. You know what I don't get is they should have done with the new FET that's coming with that is why they didn't give him one of those like half skirts. What are they called? Kamadema ding dongs.
Yeah, like
It's called a fashion statement.
Yeah, but I mean he's wearing one in the show, man. Like, come on.
Short
I mean,
skirt.
I come from a long history of people wearing inappropriate dresses. Scottish, not otherwise, but yeah. I mean, come on, man.
It's a kilt. It's a kilt.
It should
It's a
be, but his
Camino
is more like I can't remember the Muslim name for it, but it's more like that, right? So
just go grab a old ARC trooper and pull it off of him instead. Because those aren't cheap either.
yeah, exactly. No,
Not
I
if
will
you
be
run really
cutting
quickly.
up a black T-shirt and making my own.
I was just looking at this
Aftermarket
now.
one.
It's quite small compared to what I was expecting. It's almost a
Yeah.
return to that first Slave one. That's the only Slave one I've ever owned. Is that the very first one they ever released, which was quite small.
Yeah, and that's the one like that I got too. And again, it's kind of like four-bit resolution and everything else, but it was fun, right? And that's kind of what I really like about those things. So
yeah, these things seem to be more affordable kid play. Kind of focused on. I mean, with all the adult sets coming out, which we're going to talk a little bit about, is these seem actually focused on. This is birthday present from grandma. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Kind of price points and stuff like that. And I'm okay with that. You know.
I think it's awesome, and because I mean, on a more social note, and that is that, man, there is a whole lot of kids out there that cannot afford these sets, right? Like a lot of kids who can't afford these sets, and I feel that if they can, if they can deliver a $50 set, it may take that kid or family 6 months to put it together, but at least they have a shot against a $90 or $110 set, right? So
Like the X-Wing and TIE Fighter that Lego has right now.
exactly,
Those are the perfect sizes for kids.
exactly,
And
exactly.
They're
it
being
makes more
cleared
sense
for
than an
Walmart.
$80 X-Wing. Like,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that X-Wing is like fantastic. Like that's a really, really good set. Yeah.
Yeah, we said, I think we said on an earlier show, you can literally buy an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter for less than one of the X-Wing, last X-Wing or something like that. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's the same price as the last X-Wing.
Yeah.
Or
And
you can get
basically
half
getting
of
the
a
same
gas
thing.
station in the city line. So yeah.
Let's see. Shane McQueen, welcome, man. Good to have you in. Good to have you in. All right, let's keep going around the room. Let's check in with our other Canadian, who's going to keep it a little classier than the other. How
You're
you
talking
doing,
to
Jeff?
Jeff, right?
Don't make me do it.
Wait. Have both Canadians been in their pool today?
I have not. It's only about just over room temperature here today. So I don't know what's room temperature, 71? It's about 73, 74 here today. So a little cool for the pool.
Whoa, you're
Depends
using
on the room.
Fahrenheit. That's impressive.
Well, I was going to say 23, but I have to now convert over. So I think 74, 75 is in the range. But
I think it depends on what the room you're in.
true enough. So not much Lego wise. I did get my Lego order in this week, it was early this week for the double VIP points. I got the Everyone is Awesome set right there, and one of the Speed Champion sets. That was the right finger. Okay, I thought I was giving you guys the finger for a minute there.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, but I didn't. So, okay, 73 is what Brom just said. So I was actually pretty close for a guess. Trying to think what else. I've been working on very slowly building a new castle template. So just trying to figure out how big it'll be or what it'll look like.
Is that an 8-bit castle?
Yes, this is an 8-bit castle. I usually do this for most of my castles ahead of time, so I can kind of plan out what I want it to look like. And basically it's 4x4 8x8 plates, so that'll translate to 48s. So 4 48s by 4 48s right now. But this is going really slow. I know I want a mountainside, like a mountainscape, kind of behind the castle, but I don't know. Beyond that, I haven't really figured out what I want to do, so it's going to take me a little while to figure that out. Trying to think what else. It's been a busy work week, so I haven't really had a chance to do much in the way of Legoing, unfortunately. So yeah.
Good deal.
That's about it.
Well, how now your show? Tell everybody about your show, by the way.
Oh, Canadian Brick Builders. Yeah, we run every Wednesday night at 9 Eastern on my channel, VW Bricks. And we do kind of the same thing as this, but just the Canadian version. We have mostly Canadians on and the occasional Brett Hooper.
He's like an honorary Canadian anyway, isn't he?
Well, yeah, pretty much. He says sorry once in a while, so he got kind of accepted. But yeah, last night.
I have a major Lego emergency. There are going to be angry Star Wars fans. I opened this up, and the Millennium Falcon. Look at that.
That's
What
hilarious.
Look at that. Right in the big glossy picture.
They left off the dish?
Not only that, but it's unprinted. Look at the canopy.
Oh my gosh. That's hysterical.
Dude,
It's
I
a
wish that was printed. That'd be so much cooler.
Is that how the set actually is, or is that just them using?
No. This is supposed to be printed with the window frames on it, and there's supposed to be a dish on the front with the window frames on it.
So should I go to our Falcon display in the store and take part of it off so it matches that?
I think you're gonna have to.
Is it a render or is it an actual picture?
It's an actual
could be a
picture.
render.
It's a photo. It's sitting on like an IKEA countertop.
They're still renders.
But
Is it a scratch and sniff?
this is like, how did nobody notice this? Come on, you guys. Look at that.
They should hire a real graphics artist.
Not only that, now they need to change the verbiage underneath it because it says, "Welcome to the largest, most detailed Lego Star Wars Millennium Falcon model ever created, minus the front dish." So
Maybe that's a secret of how he does that thing in whatever those parsecs are.
12 parsecs.
Yeah, he has to take off the front canopy bit in order to go that way.
Well, it just peeled the paint off, you know.
This is definitely a render because that is a bad Photoshop job right there.
Oh,
that is a bad
It's all
Photoshop.
wrong. This is like weird.
Nice non-shadow there.
That's weird.
So what are you looking at? Is that like a catalog?
Yeah.
Really? How'd you get that?
It kind of spurred our conversation. Adult fans of Lego have that arriving in their mailboxes right now. We may even have one, so I haven't been to the mailbox today. So.
I go into
It kind of feels like something you see on a door you open up and there's a lot of poles and dark lighting inside.
No, that's adults
saying.
only. That's adults only.
Oh.
This is welcome adults. Adults welcome.
Isn't it kind of the same?
Possibly. All right, let's go to Rich. Rich is digging in a tub there. What is going on, man?
Hi, can you hear me this time?
We can hear you.
What are you saying? I
that's
can't hear
good.
you.
What am I? What?
I can't hear you, Rich.
You can't hear me?
I don't know if anyone else here, Rich.
We do.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
many
you
people
should have
hear.
played along.
We hear you, Rich.
It would have been funny if everyone had pretended we.
I'm prepping for Brick Fair. I'm repacking some things that I found that I unpacked so that I could find them, and then I bought those 2 more stacks, and I'm down to the last 4 drawers to put stuff in over there because that one's already full. and I'm sorting black. Sorry about that. Sorting black one by whatever's.
Nice. That's cool. That's a lot of sorting. It makes me. I don't want to do it. I've got a lot to sort. I don't want to do it.
Well, I gotta get it all out of these things.
Oh, Maddie's not here, but we have a cat. Look at Hello Cat.
Why has Matt's cat gone to Will's house?
He just
Dana's
does that
cat.
sometimes.
That's Dana's cat.
He's a little fat though. Just a little. Oh, stop clawing me! I'm just gonna
All
sit
right,
down.
everybody.
We just did magic.
So many cats.
This is
Here's my
twisted.
cat
This is like Stepford Cats, man.
behind the camera.
It's like cat flying.
Oh.
That's twisted. That you guys all have the same cat. That's like a Doctor Strange moment, man.
Oh my goodness! All the cats should be on the right-hand part of the screen. Chris, can you work it?
My cat just ran away, so that's not gonna happen.
Oh.
And this one's gotten grumpy since I picked him up from his nap. So
Come on, Will.
go back down there.
Dude, he's fat. He's gonna hurt my hands. He's heavy.
Oh,
Could we make them fight and bet on it?
Yes.
Well, my cat's gonna lose. I can guarantee that.
Uh-oh.
We could race them.
Jack's just a hisser, so
He's not very effective.
Yeah, I'm the same thing as Breckenridge there. I've not received a catalog in ages, and despite buying stuff from
Give him a mouse too.
Yeah, maybe it's because I don't know. Maybe they don't. If you're just ordering straight online and you don't call them in or whatever, they're like, well, he's just going to use the internet, so they don't send it to you. I don't know.
Maybe they only send it to people who don't buy a lot but still buy some, like to try and push you to get stuff.
Yeah.
Why did they send it to my house?
But on my profile, they see that I'm 1,000 years old and that the internet's hard. Why would they not mail it to me?
I got the catalog and I opened it up in front of my husband and I'm like, already bought it, already bought it, already
I
bought
did
it.
the same
already
thing.
Bought it. I was like, oh, I don't have that one. Already bought it, already bought it, already bought it.
it was
And
like a
you guys
checklist.
get the catalog.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. So tell us what you have and have not bought this week.
I've been since just to make Dana a little jealous. My Jackson arrived.
Yes. Love it.
Along with another showbox Darth Maul.
Ooh, Maul.
Nice.
All right, so in the Star Wars motif, I'm assembling this for Bricker Builds. We have half of Vader's head, so
Wow.
starting just last night, I got to the point where the bottom of the helmet attaches to the rear of the head, and it's bigger than life size because here's my head, and here's Darth Vader. So,
Is he sticking his tongue out?
no, that's just the nose piece.
But he could be.
With the red line at the bottom.
That's going to be where there's some parts that are going to snap on. Those are all headlight bricks. It's hard to tell, but they're red. There's going to be pieces that snap on. It'll be black. And then the little chain thing hangs down here. But
For the eye pieces, are they going to be like trans brown?
so they're trans black with red behind them. So there's a faint red tone that goes through.
Cool.
But it's pretty faint. I mean, I was actually thinking that they might have perhaps been, if I were building it for me, I might put trans clear in there. The trans red, it's really hard to see the red bricks. And just so it's kind of interesting, they do use solid red on the interior, which is designed to help you, I think, visually sight as you're building it. And I am gluing. Well, technically, I'm not gluing. I'm chemically bonding the pieces with acetone, and there have been some mistakes, and there have been some very panicked disassembling. As I counted and went, I don't think that's supposed to be there, and rip it apart. So I will just say that I know Dana is on his second glue job for Bricker Builds, but
I finished that last week. I'm going to actually pick up another one tomorrow.
I don't think there will ever be a second one for me because this is remarkably stressful. And every time I build it, I'm just like, I don't know if it's because it's black or it's just really big, or I make errors and I'm freaking out about them. But it has not been an enjoyable process gluing. So
after the show, Matt, stick around and I may have a solution for you that's a little less stressful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you asked what I bought. This is one of the few things that I got these off eBay. They're little, obviously they're display cases, but they're designed for a single minifig. So Lego sells like that box where you can display, I don't know what it is, 8 minifigs, but I hope to sell this at Brick Fair yard sale. So I thought I need a show box where people can look at it and then not get their dirty fingers on it, since I'm asking for money.
So I this is the second time this evening I've had to school one of you people about Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
You've made a career out of it now.
I mean, he's got red lenses in A New Hope, and Rogue One did a throwback to that. So,
Well, yeah, this one has red too.
I know you were saying you wouldn't put the red in there, and I was just hassling you.
No, I was saying I wouldn't use trans black in front of it.
He would use trans clear with the red behind it.
I would probably go with burgundy and clear.
Wait, what are you showing us now, Chris?
You can also put David Prowse's eye that shows up in a little bit of the movie. There you go.
So put a bunch of Nixel eyes behind it.
In Bricker Build's defense, I believe the reason that they used the trans black versus just putting trans red in there 1x2s, probably due to availability of the trans black 1x2s versus the trans red 1x2s.
Okay, sure. And I'm building the typewriter, which is extremely unforgiving. And as I've done each bag, I had to tear it apart because I had a leftover piece, and it doesn't work if you skip a piece. So the keys move, but the carriage, which is supposed to go over here, it doesn't stay. So the piece that I have left over apparently was important, and I'm gonna have to rip it apart.
Oh.
No bueno. No bueno. Sad trombone.
That's part of. That's almost the reason why I may not. I mean, I don't know if I'll get the typewriter or not, but with that deep of a chunk of Technic, that's going to happen. I had that problem with the R2D2, and I still feel like I am not exactly sure the leg mechanism works right. It works, but it's kind of clunky. And I'm like, I think I screwed that up. But
you see, if you keep it on the wall and no one touches it, it doesn't matter.
That works for a lot of things. But anyway.
With the BB-8 model is supposed to have the thing that sticks out with the lighter, and mine never really worked the correct way. And I was just like, well, we'll just put it up really high on the shelf, and nobody will know that I screwed up the Technic. But
now we know.
For you, Matthew.
Thomas wants me to get the working piano, and after building the typewriter, my enthusiasm for building a series of piano keys has diminished very significantly.
It doesn't really matter if it works or not, though, on the piano. So
yeah, but he will press the keys, and he'll be like, "Why isn't the things moving?" I'll be like, "Because I forgot a piece somewhere in there."
Yeah. Lego lied. That's what you say. Lego lied. All right, Mr. Sandlin, what's up?
I think we already kind of. I didn't have much to talk about. I got this thing in the mail.
Oh, what is that?
It's a catalog.
Now we're talking about cat's logs? What?
We already had the cat's
bad
log
catalog. A very, very bad catalog.
Well, I mean, it has a gigantic mistake on one of the most famous movies.
Breaking news.
I would normally think I'm having a stroke, but I'm pretty sure that we talked about all this before.
Adults are welcome to criticize us heavily.
That's all I got. Sorry.
All right, we'll get back to that catalog here in just a minute. All right, Dana, what you got for us this evening?
Let's see. I picked up some of these little brick boxes on clearance. Thanks to Matthew for pointing out that some of the Walmarts were doing those. Not all the Walmarts.
What were they?
Allegedly.
They're allegedly on clearance for $14.40. So 25%
It's
off.
not terrible.
No. I mean, I would love for them to be 50% off. And if I do, I'd only gotten one when they came out because I really wanted the Alien. So yesterday I picked up one of each. So now I actually have two of the Aliens. I'm going to save that one. If they go to 50% off or 60% off, I'll buy as many as I can, just because I know Matthew and I both have been loving these clear pieces and trying to find some way to integrate those into some mocks and stuff like that. I really want to do that. It's just weird that everything's all pastels and weirdness for the other pieces. The one that's probably the best to get is the DJ robot because his is in white, and so it's like some usable colors that would make more sense. It's usable,
yeah.
So that may be like the big one to try and get those extra pieces and how we're to mount things and stuff like that. Other than that, I think you guys saw I've been building a little more vignettes. So the one I finished yesterday was I call it the Shinigami or the Soul Reaper. She is a red monochrome figure with wings and a little tail. Her samurai sword for cleansing the souls of the dead to send them to the afterworld. However, she happens to be in a little bit of a fire zone here, and I've even got some flames. It's kind of hard to see, but in the background, she's got some flames and some flowers and some hell moths or hell butterflies to transfer messages from the afterworld to the living. But so I'm excited about that.
A red apple. I'm just saying.
You know what? Red apple would have been it's just too cliche. So I left it out. It's the same reason I didn't put bananas in the yellow one, because it was just like too obvious. So
then you should use red bananas in this one.
If I had red bananas, I would have, because it would have been nice,
fair.
cool, like weirdly big, cool, weird flames coming up or something like that.
Dana, can you hold up the beat boxes again? One of the beat boxes. So in our post show from Monday, Mr. Van Winden was trying to help me figure out how to use the rounded hole part there, which, as he demonstrated, is not very system compatible. It is an odd size. So you can snap a Lego brick on the top of it, but as he tried a whole series of parts to see if they would snap in there, it generally doesn't work with system brick.
But you know what's interesting is that the quarter round fits around it. So I don't know if that means that the 4x4 round with a hole would fit over that.
Jeff?
Checking. I'll go check.
All right. I haven't had a chance to play with them yet. I know you guys have been theorizing the different ways of connecting it, but I did notice that, and I do need to play more with that.
For science.
But other than that, I'm going to be trying to work on a couple more monochromes. I've got the black, the brown, the purple, and the pink still left to do. I'm not even going to attempt the little light blue guy because I have like maybe a small dime bag full of parts in this color, so that's not going to happen.
I mean, that's about as many parts as Lego has in that. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm not really going to shoot for that. But other than that, I think we can go to this old gray brick set of the week, Chris. If you want to,
all right, adding to
share my screen.
For the record, winner, chicken dinner. It fits exactly.
Let's go to it. All of that trouble, and Dana throws down.
Yep. There we go. I see a connection point.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And to lock it in, you can use these ones because they have the smaller hole in the middle, and
which fits right over that piece.
Actually, if you put this piece back on.
Yep. Which means it would lock it in perfect, wouldn't it?
And then, just got to line it up. Yeah, now it's locked in. It's not going anywhere. And
see, I'm not just a snarky commentator.
You got rotating guns.
Stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I gotta go.
Good work, Dana.
Well, our work is done here. Good night.
Where you keep all your dimes?
Good job. Good job.
I like to drop some knowledge to the kiddos from time to time.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's go back to this old Greg Rick set of the week.
We'll let Uncle Dana come over and explain that to you later. So let's go with Rick, set of the week. Go ahead, man.
Is the 6810 Laser Ranger from Futron. Is it Futron or is it Space Police? I don't know. I think it's Futron. We're going to go with Futron. So, Space Theme Futron 1989, which happened to be the same year that Space Police 1 came out. Coincidence? I don't know. A whole whopping 41 pieces, one minifigure. Retail price was $2.
Oh, that's a lot of fun for $2, man.
$2 freaking dollars. Used today run you about $8. And new in box will run you $69.
Oh wow!
Moving right along. Why is it cool? Pre-Space Police. I mean, this was just like right as the cusp of Futron to Space Police. I mean, everything about it says Space Police, except for he's got a trans dark blue visor versus a trans red visor. The lovely white space logo on the printed slope was one of the last 2 sets to have that white piece. There was another little small Futron set that also had it. After that, no more printed space logo on a white slope. So sad. Thirdly, two white goblets in this set. That again, they're not expensive, but they're not common if you go looking for them on Bricklink.
Right.
Weird choice of using those. I think they used some gray ones in some sets, and I think some blue ones. I might be wrong about the blue. I think it's just only the yellow or the white and the gray that they ever used in the space sets. But we got one in that. And for Gil, it fits in your pocket. Great little bang for your buck for a whole $2 back there in 1989. And so this week's Old Gray Brick set this week is 6810 Laser Ranger. And if you got 2 of them, they're the Space Highway Patrol.
Oh,
nice. Ships. And that's it.
That's awesome.
For $2,
you have your own sample ready to go.
No, the sample is in the basement, unfortunately. I know I have been neglecting you guys of showing you my physical pieces, but I need to take off like about a week from work.
Like that.
What?
Why do you say things like that?
What?
I didn't want to show you my physical pieces. What are you doing?
How would you have worded that? Physical sets?
I'm not showing you the pieces, the bricks I have.
I just talk and the words come out. I don't really censor them. I'm not trying to be subversive. Maybe.
Whatever, Dimebag. Keep going. That's your name now, by the way. Dimebag.
In a Dimebag trouble. Right here. River City.
It's got several meanings. Take it how you will.
I had to look up Dimebag for the record. I didn't know that before. It's only there it is. For anyone else who doesn't know.
My wife is going to have a field day when I go and tell her that people had to question what a dime bag was. She's going to be like, "What are those people doing?"
I am an innocent.
I am not.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about it. I don't know if you guys saw today. Joe Mino linked it actually on Facebook, and then also just kind of simultaneously, a lot of adult fans were getting the Adults Welcome catalog, that marketing campaign. But really cool. Let me see if I can share this screen here. Of this article actually in National Geographic, which as a kid that had a different meaning that I was going to read the National Geographic, but
creepy.
But anyway, and I have 3 free articles left in National Geographic. I don't know if you see that, but this is an entire article of the how adult fans saved Lego back in 2003. And it's a very good article. It mentions Paul Smith Meyer a lot, who is kind of a hero of mine and a good friend, and goes on to talk about a lot of things, but it quotes 2 or 3 really good Lego insiders. It has quotes from Jake McKee. They interviewed him. They go and talk to the guy who made the Lego Brickumentary. Talks about Brad Justice. Talks about Tormund. Talks about a lot of guys who were back in those days basically, and Christina Hitchcock, they interviewed her, talked to
Well, they
her.
interviewed Christina.
Yeah, they did. And they go through a lot. They talk about the infamous, and I'm wearing the shirt, by the way. This is show prep right here. I'm wearing the 2005 Brickfest shirt when Lego really showed up en masse to be at Brick Fair and talk to us and everything. And then it talks about how they came to fans and recruited folks like Jamie Berard, which they did. And we see Jamie every week now. And so talking about a lot of the things, they don't mention like Lego Factory, unfortunately, but there's a lot of stuff that they talk about how adult fan engagement, basically they engaged adult fans to and saved the brand in a lot of ways, tapped into that Lego market, which they thought was weird up until about 2003 when they didn't have any money. And then they're looking for new markets. And they tapped into one. So I thought we might talk about that because a lot of us were around then because we're old. So I don't know if you also saw Simon Liu posted an article on Brick Nerd about him realizing he's a Lego dad and he had Lego dads.
Yeah.
And it was a generation. And so I made a comment. I said, I guess maybe we're stepdads too. He goes, no, you're my grandpa. Because we were the early one. Yeah. And then there were a lot of Grandpa Simpson gifts thrown back and forth. But he's like, no, you're like a Lego grandpa. And then he puts the gif of, come, there's an old person, let's sit. And Grandpa Simpson sits down and all the kids come and listen to his stories. But he talked about how back in the early 2000s, we laid a lot of groundwork for the adult fan community to be what it is today, and that was pretty cool. But we were grandpas. But those days, there was a turn from Lego from when they said Lego adult fans are a weird aberration to what it is now. Like Mark has in his hand a direct marketing outreach to adult fans and says that I'll get that thing out of it. Adult fans are well. There it is. There it is.
Or say a whole show in its second season.
All I have to say is that my participation in assisting Christina Hitchcock in creating conventions like Brickfest and with me helping Todd Webb create Brick Fair, you guys are all welcome. Lego, you're welcome.
I think that was a flex. Don't you think was that a flex?
Yeah, I think that was a flex. I think that was a little flex.
That was a lot of flex. That gift is hard to find now.
I'm sure Lego would offer you a very heartfelt Rich Who?
Yeah, exactly. That is true.
You know, it probably would have sounded more impressive if it didn't sound like you were flying over the Sea of Japan in 1942.
Yeah. Hey, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can with the equipment I got. But yes,
you leave that part of your life out of this, Rich. I don't need to know anything.
So
but the efforts of not just me, but a lot of other people in creating a fan-based event that millions of people have been to at this point in time, whether it's a Brick Fest, a Brick Fair, Northwest BrickCon, a Brick World, Bricks by the Bay. It all started with Brick Fest, and Lego should be very thankful for people who helped set those things up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean the first adult fan convention was it Brick Fair was Brickfest was 2000, was that right?
2001, wasn't it?
No, 2000.
Was it 2000? Okay.
There was a 2000 and a 2001, and I went to 2002, I believe, was my first one because that's the first one with the engraved brick, right?
I went to 01, and that was the second, or possibly even the third, but it wasn't the first.
Yeah, so 2000, 2001, 2002. That's cool. So yeah, and so in those days, though, the fest was crowded when it had 250 adult fans from around the country at it. Now that would be considered a small fest compared to what's going on now. So
failure. Yeah.
But that was
not making your expenses.
But just to put on my old man pants for a moment, that's 250 AFOLs.
Thank you for putting those on. We appreciate
that's not kids, that's not parents of kids, that's not spouses. That's basically 250 AFOLs who pretty much all who had been building for over a decade, who were for experienced, talented builders, and I think there's a high proportion of us who had shown up with Mark. So think of it as 250 of those people, as opposed to 250 people with the demographic spread that you see at a current Connect.
Yeah, and I think I think though that it's also part of like a general nerd trend. Like just last night, I'm reading through a comic from 1983, and in one of the ads, they have a list of all the conventions coming up, like New Jersey, this, that. One was San Diego Comic-Con, right? And it was a big thing because this time they're getting half of a ballroom. And I mean, you see that thing now, right? Like it's like a 7-day, millions of people flying in that thing. And I think that in some ways too, that Lego, all the setup for the different conventions, it's a little bit of zeitgeist going on because it started to take off when nerd culture got juiced, right? So they kind of go hand in hand too, right? I think they kind of feed off one another.
Does it make you wonder? Do they really care, or do they really just care that we buy their product? I mean,
I think they care a little bit, but you have to also understand that these cons were laced with nerds anyway. We streamed live. Kevin Locke streamed live the first 3 years of Brickfest to the internet.
I remember that.
Huh.
And we had a Chiron. We had a Chiron on CNN that specifically mentioned Brickfest in 2003, I think it was, which was really incredible.
I have that ticker in my in my Brickshelf gallery.
Yeah.
You can pull it up if you want.
So it's already, the nerds have already been interlaced into the whole con thing anyway with the adult fans of Lego. And I think they do care. I think they didn't care initially, but now they understand the power that we actually bring, especially to social media, to image, to outreach, to all kinds of other areas that really translate into money to them.
So
it only took 20 years.
I got a beef. I got a beef that I got to throw in here, because when I read that article, and there was a little bit of Kevin Hinkle's voice in the back of my head, and trying to do the time and the math, and I call bullshit that they've been thinking about this since the early 2000s, and that they've appreciated the conventions and they've appreciated all this, and they've been thinking about, hey, this is great. Bullshit. Sorry, I've dropped it twice. That this is more of a they're just now going, oh, this is what all those people have been telling us for the last decade plus. Maybe we should do something about it.
It is bullshit. We invited Brad Justice to, I don't think we did it to 2000, but we did to 2001, 2002, 2003. It wasn't until 2000. Oh yeah, he came to 2003, and then everybody else came in 2005. Even KKK came to 2005.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate. No, not Mr. Christensen came to Brick Fair 2005. I actually have a picture of him with one of my. Yes, I have a picture of him with one of my sig figs. My Martin, the Marvin the android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He's holding it. I have a picture of him with that.
Yeah, I'm looking up a picture here so I can find mine with him. Yeah. So yeah, the Lego fan community reached out to them for a long time. They never really responded. Geez, that was a lot. I mean, I'm a big guy now, but I was really fat back then. Hang on, let me get this picture. Jeez,
That's a
Let me crop
flex.
that image.
That's a flex right there.
it is. That's no. You don't want me to flex that. That would just flab. Hang on, let me.
It's amazing what chemo will do for you, huh?
Yeah, right.
Chemo, the diet plan that works.
I've missed you people.
It's all true, man. If I could get chemo to get some sort of medicine that made food taste bad and be unattractive to me again, like chemo did, without the other side effects of almost dying, I would be a lot healthier right now. But anyway.
Couldn't you just put spices on your food? Like hot and spicy everything?
Curry. Just put curry on everything.
There you go.
I could.
You could just find yourself a Canadian restaurant. That's all.
English food. English food.
Or you
That's
could
right.
get food that people eat at school.
There it is. There I am.
Wouldn't
Look at
eat
that. I look like a very like a Guy Fieri had a bee sting or something. Look at that.
It looks like you have the same shirt as him almost.
That's in the Nike Pump It Up era right there, isn't it?
That's right. Yes, he's squeezing my hand. I'm about to explode. But yeah, that's what this is one of my favorite shots. He was talking to me, and this little kid came up and said, "Sir, are you who you?" I mean, you know, ask him, and he stopped and talked to that kid for forever, right in front of my spaceship. Just look at there. But it's a very sweet picture. He's a neat guy.
Yeah.
Super neat guy. But if you'll notice, we're in this very teeny tiny room. We had a Moonbase out in 2005. It was a big Moonbase. These were those days. But these were the early days of the fan community. These two kids right here, actually, we met them like 10 years later. They came back to Brick Fair and found us and everything. So.
And Dan looks exactly the same.
Which
Dan
one of those
Rubin?
is Will Hafner?
Dan Rubin.
Dan Rubin.
It's like he's drinking like formaldehyde or something.
Oh, these
Well, stay with Nick.
all pictures.
It's the wrong coast for me.
But the right height.
Gosh, Will, how old
Yeah.
were you in 2005?
Hey,
were you even existing? There
I
it is.
was 9.
So,
Guys, is there a moderator on? Because someone's spamming the chat.
Yeah.
oh, raspberries. Hang on, I'll get it.
Hey guys, I'm gonna leave,
Why? 'Cause you're-
and
'cause you're- 'cause
hopefully
you're
somebody
spamming
else
their
in the
chat.
chat will jump in there.
That's Dana.
Hey, we've
Talk to you
reached
guys later.
reached a new level if we've got TikTok spammers.
Teenage
Yeah, weird.
Ultravia. This is about adult. We're talking about A folds, not T folds today.
I just took care of that chat spammer for you.
Oh, well, good. Thank you. That was pretty awesome. Anyway, so now the article mentions this guy, Paul Smith Meyer. I remember this. He was sitting there talking to me and talking to Mark. I believe Mark was there that year as well. You were there in 2005 because we rode together. But he was having a long conversation about stuff needs to change at Lego and getting back to the brick. And he was kind of laying out a lot of the stuff that Lego did to improve themselves internally. But also his idea was to return Lego back to its roots of building and improving yourself as a builder and not trying to collect some stuff and everything. So he was with the company till 2014. He's moved on to Innovate Toys somewhere else. But Paul Smith Meyer was a great guy. Oh, what's Homer Simpson? I remember the life-size Homer Simpson, and they just sat him in a chair in the big room. It's funny. That was awesome. Oh, there's Nick. That's awesome. And this is Mark on the way home. Look at that.
Was Brahms actually sitting beside Nick?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw him there.
Yeah, that's kind of like Ebony and Ivory right there. You know, yin and yang kind of thing going on. But
Mark,
yeah,
Mark
this is
looks
how
like he's like 14 in that picture.
I know.
That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
But look at this. This is my driver right now. That's Jake.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I got home. So anyway, but those were good days. Those were super important days because Lego talked to us and listened to us and realized that we weren't, weird or not so weird as we present ourselves. It was those days were extremely, and I'm glad that article picked them up. Those days were extremely important for changing. I think you got something added to the screen here, Jeff. Do you?
Yeah, it's the BrickFet. It's kind of blurry because I took it with my camera way back, but it's the BrickFet weekend, and it was 255 adults. But that was the CNN ticker that was on the screen while we were in Rocklands having drinks.
I missed that one.
I missed Rocklands. That was good, man. Good barbecue. So
would you guys say that, yeah, they were listening to you and you felt like you were communicating, but then how long did it take before you actually saw something happening?
Well, Jake McKee started shortly after that, didn't he? Or was he already there for that one? Yeah.
In fact, soon after that, he left, and what's his face? Steve Witt then took over and did it for a while. So
there was a very, as I remember, there was a fairly sudden engagement from the Lego company with the AFOLs, and then perhaps a more gradual de-escalation of a perhaps 3 or 4 years, where they went from being like very involved to being a little less involved, and there were things that happened that I think some of us weren't real happy with at the time, that in retrospect I think perhaps were okay. Like there was a time when we got these discounts at the Lego store, and so we would go and stand in line and then go in and go crazy about all this Lego, and then at some point they decided not to do that anymore, and people were sort of upset about that. But that was also like a whole evening that people spent standing in line instead of hanging out and socializing, and
well, some of that was people building their very, very, very large and popular Bricklink stores. And so I think Lego may have got some distaste for that.
Or paying to go to the show, but not actually going to the show and then getting the discount.
Yes, that is happening. Yes.
Which I believe is what the actual downfall was.
Well, there was also like
I've also been told, as someone who works at a Lego store, that one of the reasons it stopped was because so many people complained at other cons that weren't close to Lego stores that they couldn't get that discount, which is totally BS. Because now, like, if I get something in shipment that is unsellable, we put it in the brick recycle. It does not become a discounted set for an AFOL. It just goes to be recycled. So
but it's also pile. It's one thing for Lego to offer like a generous discount to like 3 cons a year, but there are so many cons now. I understand that they may feel like they can't offer that kind of discount to like 20 cons. Like I get that, but that was some wild times. The running of the bulls, and there was some that was pretty wild.
But again, I still have to come back to that. They say that the AFOLs helped and saved, and they've been thinking about us and doing all this. And I have been to only 3 Brick Fair Alabamas, and Lego has not been there for any of those 3. And not even a representative. Not that Lego showed up in mass, but like a representative from Lego even being there. Outside of land ambassadors or something like that. But I still feel that it's a best effort, and this article comes across as like, hey, we've been behind you guys and recognizing and supporting you for like almost 2 decades. You're welcome. And I'm like, no, I don't.
There's one thing. There's one other sort of angle to it too. Is that as someone who writes a lot of promotional copy.
Fluff.
Yeah, let's call it copy, just as a pleasant term. I can honestly say that from like the little bit that I was sort of just reading, is that if was at best case scenario, it was written by their marketing department, but probably reading it was written by the company they hired to do their marketing. Which, like it's very fast and loose with both intent and truth. So that could be part of it too. Now, someone had to sign off on it. It's not like they're writing it in a bubble. But right. Don't be surprised if the person writing it took liberties that maybe weren't initially as strong. there.
But I find it interesting that, this wasn't an article in, the Danish Times or, Spokane, Washington's, Inquisitor or something like that. This was National Geographic. Somebody reached out to somebody to get some sort of, not national exposure, but global exposure to kind of fluff, and I'll use the word fluff, the adult prospects, and saying, hey, we're about you guys. We've always been about you guys. We're on the slide, right?
Well, I mean, Dana, I think you've perhaps not been to. I think the interaction between the company and the AFOLs has not been as obvious in the past 5 years as it was, 5 to 20 years ago. And I'm sorry if you missed that. And it's also possible that didn't hit the cons you were at. That there definitely was that, but there is a lot less of that now.
Well, and that's and that's exactly my point. It may have been, and I'm not discounting the groundwork and everything that's gone on, because the fact that we have multiple shows across the country is a testament to the AFOLs are doing their thing, and everything like that. And I believe that Lego came in and saw this and were like, hey, yeah, this is cool. You guys are doing a great job. And then they kind of gave it a little bit of effort and kind of did some stuff, and then it kind of went blank. Because even I've been on the LAN for 5 years, and being an ambassador, I still feel like I'm just shooting in the wind. There's nobody checking up on me and seeing how things are going with my community and this and that. I'm just required to fill out a survey once or twice a year and notate when we do meetings and this and that. And I facilitate lug bulk, which, by the way, they tried to kill, or Kevin tried to kill and tell him, this was probably a bad idea, but it made so much money for Lego. They're like, no way, there's no way we can kill this. That's about the extent of my interaction with Lego corporate. Brand stores, now they do the business with me. They're the ones that are preaching and talking the talk with AFOLs. All the Lego store employees and the managers, they bend over backwards for their AFOLs that come in. You feel like you're Norm walking into Cheers when you walk into a Lego store on a regular basis, if you're a reoccurring AFOL. But that's not corporate saying, hey, we're doing this or that, or we're reaching out to do this and that, or making things. I'm not saying they didn't at one time, but yeah, within the last 5 or even 10 years, it's been crickets at best. My opinion.
When did Kevin Hinkle leave Lego?
2012, I believe.
Was it that long ago?
Is it that long?
Because we never. And who did Steve Witt replace him? No, he replaced Steve Witt.
No,
right?
he replaced Steve Witt, and then no one replaced Kevin.
Exactly. So
That's
and
what
that was the thing.
happened, yeah.
When Kevin came to BrickFest years ago, he would tell us ahead of time, hey, I'm going to be at this event this year, but I won't be back for another year or two because I have to make the rounds and I only get a certain number of trips every year.
Oh, yeah, because he publicly was told you can only go to, I think it was 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5. Yeah, exactly. So he never made it to Brick Fair, Virginia, or Brick Fair, Alabama. It might have just been that he never actually got there in time before he was let go, or was that even after Alabama started? Like, did he leave before or after? I don't know what the time.
I know he went to Alabama at least as his role at Lego at least once.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, he went to Alabama as Todd's assistant when he was helping out with Todd.
Yeah.
I think 1 year. So,
but I think his very first show on his own was one of the Alabama shows.
Maybe you're right,
if I recall correctly. And then after that, he was shortly let go. So, yeah.
So, and just to add on to the whole conversation about what after 2006, after all the Lego, or 2005, after the Lego company came to Virginia and saw BrickFest, the ambassador program was started maybe a couple of years after that.
I was in.
I think. Yeah, so was I. We were both first years for that. But so I mean, they did actually start the ambassador program shortly thereafter. I can't remember what the distance and time between.
But we didn't do anything. We just got cool shirts, and that was about it.
Yeah. And even today, the ambassador program, while it exists and it has its advantages, it's like it's so 10 years ago with what they're doing on the LAN itself. I mean, they're making improvements. I see active changes trying, but it's still just an ad hoc afterthought almost. It's not like it's a focused thing
I wonder.
I might be a little jaded in my perspective, but the article in general, which we're discussing, kind of just made me go, "This is not accurate."
But
I wonder though if like it used to be that AFOLs were or seemed to be less common, so AFOLs were more novel, and now that Lego is more mainstream and being an AFOL on some level, even if it means just buying a Star Wars set once a year for Christmas, if that's more common and more mainstream, then it's just less of a big deal.
Yeah,
like would that be? Everyone's a nerd now, right?
Oh yeah, I mean they're taking over. It's not even fun anymore. I mean, all of the things that I enjoyed through high school that were closet enjoyments are now everybody's favorite pastime, which is kind of funny.
Well, and my theory would be is that they're sending like this little catalog out to AFOLs to recruit them, but they're not. They're sending it to those of us who buy.
Who are already VIP members.
Yeah, the VIP members. So it's like, duh, we know this is there. So this seems like a weird shot, but I do think it really funny that thing shows up the same day that article appears. And I mean, it's like, okay, that's just 2 swipes at building our cred with adult fans, either retaining the adult fans that they have, or are motivating them to go, hey, I got this in the mail to another adult fan. I don't know.
And also too, don't again, I'm going back to just today at work, I'm looking at my marketing calendar. When stuff is being mailed out, when stuff is landing on people's desks, right? Or inbox or whatever you have. So you got the catalog, you've got that our article that is arriving the same time that Lego Masters Season 2 is airing, right? So you've got everything that's hitting at the same time. And whenever I read, just from what we're talking about today, I can't help but go back to what Dana said many moons ago, in between the inappropriate comments and whatever. That
he just said moons, though.
that these sets, obviously, like we said before, they're not meant for Lego fans. They're meant for fans of other things who can now get a representative in Lego. And if whenever I see this, say, sent, to, Chris or anyone here, my thought is, okay, I got this thing in my hand now. I know someone in my life who's not a Lego fan, but man, they like antiquated typewriters or whatever, or, they take piano, whatever, right? And they're like, now I'm going to show them a little bit of what I like by getting them this, right? So that, to me, that, I think they're looking for that cross-pollination to outside the Lego realm that we've talked before. And as for it showing up now, like I said, marketing is not haphazard if they're doing it right. It's timed very specifically. And if you've got someone, a non-Lego person who's watching Lego Masters with their kid because they like Lego, well, what better time to expose them to something that would look pretty awesome on their desk in their office, right? So,
and I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if this shows up in the Lego stores to get dropped into bags.
Right.
We just got it in the mail, but it's going to be in the stores.
I think if I were in charge of Lego and trying to figure out what we want to do marketing wise, 10, 15 years ago, I might be interested in seeing what the AFOLs can do for us and with us. Now that I understand they're a bigger part of our market than I realized before in 2005, 2010. But if I'm doing that job in 2021, I'm thinking to myself, what new brands, what new movies and videos and franchises can we, we just sold a bonsai tree. What else can we sell to people who don't build Lego normally? I mean, that's clearly where the money is. Right. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's a massive shift because, in the days of the early cons, it was basically Star Wars and maybe at some point Harry Potter starting creeping in. And, it's just very different now.
Yeah.
Well, I think also,
I mean, that's Lego, the Ideas platform, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Ideas platform and just the fact that I think COVID, and this was a topic that we could have talked about, but this is kind of dovetails through it. the COVID increase for Lego, when and will that bubble pop, and how bad will it pop? Because, you know, Lego is doing exponentially better this year than they have done, you know, in the last 3 years combined. Now, is that only because of COVID? And now that COVID happened, and these people who are adults of Lego, also fans of Lego, who are like, oh, hey, I enjoy this, and I had fun doing it while we were locked down, I'm going to keep doing it. Is that going to stay? Is it not going to stay? And is that part of the reason why Lego is like, wow, we're doing crazy money on these big, expensive sets, which obviously are not being bought by 7 to 10-year-olds. Maybe we start pumping out more of these big sets that cost a lot of money because the AFOLs are buying them. Or if they're not an AFOL, but just an adult shopper.
I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with. I may have to go handle another spam. I think
you got spam twice in one night.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I guess we're important now.
I guess
a big
What,
deal.
they're
in
making
the
a black
Resistance.
pink Lego set? What? Is that in the video line?
Black pink Lego.
It's because we have the adults welcome thing. It's like triggered all the.
We've
No,
hit an
I think
algorithm.
I think it's
That's good.
because
You may be right.
stick mode, and that clearly applies to our channel. So.
Yeah, you need to leave adult out of our intros.
remove. There we go. I think I did it. Yeah, I probably did set something up as. I think they're gone. I can't tell. I think a good actually test study will be how well this gunship does when it's released. I know with the R2D2 they pumped a lot to the stores, but I believe they sold well. Would I say
They
correct,
sold
Will?
very well.
Okay.
I've been out of stock of them up until today, and I got a bunch today, and that'll probably sell out today and tomorrow. So,
But it's, again, that's a very iconic character.
yeah.
So the gunship mayor, did you change my name? Just noticed that I got changed to Diamond. But the gunship, it's going to be wonky. I don't think it's going to sell real well out of the gate. I think, or maybe it'll sell for the people who are looking for it, but I don't think it's going to be as long of a sell as some of the more classic ships from the original trilogy. That's just my thought process. I don't think it's a good litmus test for this, though.
And because the R2 unit looked good. Just saying.
Yeah.
True, and there has been a lot of controversy on the style and the quality of the gunship, which for the non-die-hard Lego fan, I don't think they're going to notice or care as much. But you're gauging on Star Wars fandom buying anything that's Star Wars, which is a pretty good bet.
I also think that like the gunship it does appeal to just people who are a little younger than us. I had a guy I knew in the army like 20 years ago who got in touch with me on Facebook, and he said, "Yeah, my teenage son wants a Lego gunship." This was like a couple of years ago, and he was like, "I want to buy one on eBay, but there's 3 different ones out there," and he asked me to help him figure out which one to get. So maybe that Republic gunship is a little more of a big deal to people who are, 15 years old than we.
Because Clone War prequels being prequels, let's call it what they are. But the Clone Wars was a 7-season blockbuster for Star Wars fans, and those Republic gunships were a big deal during the series. So there's going to be a lot of fandom who want that.
But
Most people my age who are like Lego builders are probably going to go crazy for that, or actually are going crazy for that.
But
So-
just because we've had moons and other things, Lego is dropping 107 sets. I just did the count on August 1st, including the gunship.
Okay, so I was off by 2.
They've shot themselves in the foot basically because of that.
Well,
I would say
some would say yes, some would say no, because again, the store shelves are bare. The Lego stores have been bare. I mean, Will, how many filler shelves are you guys doing?
We don't have any right now. So we're like in the top 8 for sales company wide, and we're just a normal
Okay.
Lego store.
Right.
So my store in particular does crazy, and our back room is really small though. We are getting 3 shipments next week, which
3?
yeah, normally I get 2. Most
Okay.
Lego stores only get 1.
So that's the big ramp up.
672 sets coming out in August, right?
Yeah.
107, yeah.
Because
107.
I guess I'm going to disagree with you, Dana. I mean, I go to my Lego store fairly often, and it's not bare at all. I mean, they're out of some of the new sets, but there's not that many duplicates facing out. And I walk around the store every time and look at what's on display because that's the kind of guy I am.
I know. I do the same thing.
I disagree that it's bare.
It depends on the store.
Having worked through a couple Christmases, I know what bare looks like, and they're not anywhere close to bare.
Is it bare after Dana walks through it?
Dana just thinks it's bare when they don't have what he wants to buy.
No. When I walked into North Point, and I was like, wow, you've got bonsai trees and flower bouquets in 2 different locations in the store? That was kind of odd.
That's
and the
because we
response
suddenly
was,
start
well, because
getting
they were
like
light.
100 of those a week.
Yeah, and they go through them quickly. But it wound up being that the Disney sets, they had so few Disney sets recently that they needed to fill in some of the Disney areas because they were light. So, again, it's creative displaying and not have, Will, your store is doing gangbusters. Matthew, you actually referenced the #1 store in the country, so I'm guaranteeing they're probably getting a little bump in their inventory too.
They're not #1 in sales though. They just got picked Fest Store of the Year.
No, she's getting ready to do $3 million in sales this year if things trend correctly.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. I know when I worked at North Point that the 2 stores usually finished within like $50,000 of each other.
Right,
So, I mean,
and the North Point store is also on record to do their biggest year ever. But again, these are the corporate brand stores. They tend to try and keep things spruced up a little bit. But I referenced both the Target and the Walmarts that are, I mean, it's almost like COVID again as far as what's on the shelves. You got 107 sets coming out. We're maybe going to fill those shelves again.
However,
I'll tell you that here they're bare.
I would say I just hit a bunch of Walmarts and it wasn't that bare. I
will go take pictures of both my Walmarts for you tomorrow and show you how bare they are.
Well, that's because you live in.
If you want to see bare, just look at Pick-a-Brick Walls right now.
But again, we talk about that I live in the most non-clearance section in the state of Georgia because it's so much money going on here. But yet our Lego section was completely decimated this week.
Yes, but over here we had plenty of clearance. Had I been really paying attention to it, there was a lot of clearance to get out of our Walmarts, and the Ninjago that's been on clearance is still on the shelf at the big Walmart. I mean,
wow,
it's not leaving very fast, and everything, and some other stuff has. So,
what's clearance? What's that mean?
Yeah.
It's this mythical.
I don't
land.
understand. Does this mean that you pay more?
Is it like a dime bag?
It's like a dime bag. I did get one of those, Chris. I did get one of those.
I went to my Walmart actually just before this chat. Like after I finished work, I ran over to Walmart just because I had heard there were deals going on in the States.
It's okay. You had reasons.
Sorry?
It's okay. You had reasons.
Yeah. Well, no, that was the only reason I went. But we've got a few sets that are $5 or $10 off, but nothing at clearance levels yet, which for us would be $10 or $20 off usually, like $20 off the bigger sets. But I do agree the shelves were looking pretty bare in my store. Like there were some empty spots, and I mean that's just because Walmart hasn't had new, like the August stock isn't there yet, right?
And then the
Toys R Us, same thing. Like Star Wars was empty.
Yeah,
empty.
Don't mention the T word, Gil. It still causes
the place. I can say it a million times because hey, nothing's on the shelf. It may as well be a butcher shop at this point.
and Target, which hasn't been having any. I mean, I've been looking for clearance at Target, and it's not happening yet. And their shelves are pretty bare, except for the video boxes. That section's pretty stock solid.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing I wanted to say is that you guys are saying that the video sets there's boatloads of them, they're going on sale. They'll actually pay you $5 to take one away or whatever. Here, I don't know what Jeff has found, but like the Walmart here, the Toys R Us, I guess Canadian Tire, I don't know, maybe a couple other places. Almost none of them. Like they're like unicorns. Like just I don't know if they've been bought up or we didn't get them or.
Wait, they're not even on the shelves?
No, it's like nowhere to be found.
when they first came out on my store, I saw them for a few days on an end unit, like
Yeah.
one of those cardboard box units, and then they disappeared.
Yeah.
And I went back, like after COVID lifted, I went back and I did find them on a back end.
Yeah.
And in the Walmart I was just at this evening, like they have the pods.
Yeah.
And they had just like one of those little side racks that goes on the end of the unit, like on the end shelf, with them on there at full price. And I was like, ugh, because I wouldn't mind getting the DJ one, but
But
I'm not
yeah,
paying
they are
$25 for it.
not plentiful at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, but I don't think they've been bought up. I just think
no,
It's
they-
a
they-
supply.
they-
to order that
you
many.
won't want them.
yeah.
You-
No,
you know how
I
we-
don't know what, but like both my Walmart and Targets, I mean, it's like a square block of shelf that's stacked full, and it has not changed in
It
months.
is high and deep, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Data, when you come over to check on my cat this week, you can hit my Walmart and get some on sale.
I will. I will do. Well, I mean, I did find one Walmart, but it's just amazing how
Oh,
little
look.
they've been clearance
Getting
yet.
Morse code to each other. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like allied ships in the
Right.
in the bay, you know,
Send-
signaling to the fog there.
Send preparation H, pushing button too much.
I'm a bull, not a female.
One way only.
And sorry, that I just realized that one probably came out the wrong way because my dad,
There
we
you
used to
go.
live on a dairy farm, and my dad used to have to check the cows to see if they were pregnant, and it was that. So that's why I'm saying I'm a bull because anyway.
Hey, TMI, but appreciate the knowledge.
What about when the baby's head was facing the wrong way and you had to do
Oh
that?
yeah,
thing?
did that too. Christmas Eve we did a C-section on a cow, so it was fun.
You have an interesting way of having fun.
Well, I mean, Christmas
He's
Eve,
Canadian though, so it's acceptable.
Hey,
I just
life
mean,
and
it was-
death.
It was an interest. Like I was like 10 or 12, and I'm holding the cow's tail as the vet is opening his stomach. So, it's like, okay, I know I can see gore and not be totally disgusted. Anyway, Lego, yeah, let's get back to that.
I know. I totally lost train of thought. We were talking about Adults Welcome. We've gotten spammed. We're talking about clearance. We're talking about 107 sets out coming out. And actually, and Will, you could probably maybe confirm this or not, but I want to say that like that's not unusual for Lego to release 107 sets.
So Lego usually releases that many sets every
6
Half
months.
year?
every 6
January,
months.
August. Yeah.
I will say Lego's apparently gonna do more smaller launches. Like, there's always gonna be a big one on like January 1st, and then
Right.
usually August 1st or whatever. But Lego's trying to have like this theme this month, this theme that month, this theme that month, just so like our retail stores aren't overwhelmed. Because when I have to make space for like that many sets, like I'm 30% of my store is not gonna be on the floor. And it's gonna actually suck. But yeah,
Well, I mean, and this isn't the first time this will happen because I remember
no,
at some point in time I went looking for Galaxy Squad, and I had to go to the store manager. I'm like, "Hey, I'm looking for X." Oh, we've got that in the back because we got in a new big release, and so we had to take some sets off the shelves.
yeah.
So it's
The
not
problem
like this
is,
gonna be
like,
new.
yeah, when I started working at our store, God, that's almost 6 years ago. We had a ton of doubled up sections, like all over, and now, 20% of what I have is not on the floor because we cannot do it. Lego's been adding like 5% total things to our like overall selection every year for the last, probably since I was a little kid.
Will you come back and give us a report on the Thursday after the first on how your store did?
If I can, sure, why not?
If you can,
You might need
or
a couple days to recover.
or even the week after, just to see how you do in those first 2 weeks when those new sets come out, and how your store, what your inventory looks like after that.
I mean, I got 3 phone calls today about people asking for new Star Wars sets, which was
So-
kind of weird. But
Will the North Point Alpharetta store is very similar in that it is an extremely small back side. So we would run into the problem of, just didn't have that much in reserve. And so if it was Christmas or something, we could burn through everything that was in the back pretty quickly. And we used to store
I would get
stuff.
4 to 5 shipments a week during Christmas time.
Right. They
It
used
was
to have
insane.
an offsite storage, but Lego did away with that. So now they just get 3 shipments a week, often small shipments, but they get stuff delivered. So they just get more frequent reloads. But I do remember one year, it was the second Christmas season I worked, and we were a couple days out from Christmas, and pretty much the only thing we had left were sets $50 up and higher price point. And it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was getting hard to fill empty spaces.
Now that's Christmas time, right?
Lego,
That's
Lego
expected.
gave us the green light to bring out the stuff that was supposed to be on January 1st. Target and Walmart had already broken street dates, and so they just green lighted us to bring out a bunch of the stuff. And the store was thrilled because we had this stuff in the back and we couldn't sell it, and we had half empty shelves. And so, I mean, people are saying, well, it's too many sets. They're rolling out on this particular date. But, right now the appetite in the market seems to be very, very high. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't foresee them doing an early release of stuff right now, obviously, but we've been doing that less and less since I've worked with the company. And the earliest we would release stuff would be like maybe December 27th, 26th or so. So after Christmas with the new stuff.
But don't quote you on that, right?
No.
We'll be there.
but they got the green light from Lego corporate to do it if they did it. They didn't do it on their own. So,
But
I
again,
wish
this
we could
is-
do it on our
but
own.
Again, this
It'd
is
be amazing.
August. This is August, so I'm curious
Yeah.
to see: is this going to be consistent? Is it going to be what we're, this isn't the first August that they've released 100 some odd sets. I mean, they do this periodically. It's just a question to see how those sets do. We got a UCS set coming out, lots of Star Wars sets. It's going to be curious to see what's going to go on. Will this be a testament that the bubble is popping, or that the bubble is just going to continue to grow?
I think one of the things you're seeing across the economy is that there are all kinds of supply chain kinks and consumers shifting demands to things that they didn't buy as much, but then they did buy more of. And there's a huge number of unanswered questions. How many of these trends are going to go back to what they were before, and how many of these things have shifted permanently? And Lego is just one of those things. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff where are people going to keep using meal delivery services? Are people going to work from home a lot more post pandemic? And the answer to some of those questions is probably yes. And it's literally a coin flip, probably, whether the brisk Lego sales keeps up at that rate. I mean, my guess it's probably going to not stay at that rate. It's probably going to slide down, but it may be higher than what it was pre-pandemic. That wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, right now our store is still seeing crazy amounts of like profit compared to 2 years ago, but it's also we're not that far off from when it was pretty locked down.
Yeah,
and we still have to
of
do
course, the
capacity in
number
our
of
stores, but
And of course, Will, the number of large sets has got to also take some factor into that too.
oh yeah, it's awful trying to deal with like my back room. Whenever you release a giant set, you can't really walk in the back room. So,
Yeah. And you're about to have one of those. So
Think of it. You've got a
Oh, yeah.
$350 piano. You've got a $350 UCS set. How many times has Lego had two? And then you've got the Millennium Falcon, which is still available.
and then we have
Star Tour that's still
Coliseum,
available.
and then we have
And
the Bugatti, the Lamborghini,
the Star
the
Destroyer.
Lever.
That's
Yeah.
What is that? Potentially 7 sets over the $300 price point.
Did it say Daily Bugle?
Did
Or
not
is that
say
one
that.
under?
and the Daily Bugle
300, but yeah, no,
350?
that counts. That counts.
Yeah.
What was the Disney
I
train
would
set?
say
Is
you
that
could also
still-
probably include the Batmobile and Batwing at that point too.
Just take the
Right,
adult
so-
catalog and just keep reading. That's
Yeah.
what he's got.
Well, I mean,
behind.
Exactly.
Yeah,
just
we're hitting well over 10 sets, pushing on 15 sets that are over $300, and those are sets that aren't, you know, they're not shelf sitters. They're continuously being moved. So
Yeah,
it's
Is there
interesting.
Is there any sets that aren't being moved in the adult line? Like, is there stuff that you're?
well, piano doesn't really move that fast, to be honest.
Okay.
That's
But,
Makes sense.
It's a niche. It's a niche.
How's the typewriter selling?
I mean, it's settled down for today, but like Monday, I sold a ton. So people just don't know that I have them yet because we didn't get enough on launch. But we got a ton of Seinfeld, which is out now, which we don't sell any. But
Is that for
Wait,
VIP
is that
only, isn't it?
officially released?
For
yeah,
VIP only?
VIP early access was yesterday. We sold like 2 in the first hour. So
Okay. I don't even think I saw any media on that.
Yeah.
there wasn't much.
Other than the teaser, and maybe that's
There's only so much Lego time the media can like there's a market for what will sell, and there's also like a upper limit of how much like the media is interested in talking about like a bajillion Lego sets.
Well, no, but I mean even like Brick Fanatics, Brick Set, Brick.
They did announce it, and I like we talked about it last night in our chat as well that it came out, and I got
'Cause
that
I don't
info
think
from a few of them.
I would have thought that I would have seen more of that on just my normal social media feeds,
Yeah.
not necessarily mainstream media, but.
It was
That's
either the
interesting.
Brick Fan or Brick Set that had posted.
I mean,
it,
it's
but it was
more
available.
niche than the Friend set, right? And the Friend set is niche. So
I don't know. I would put Seinfeld and Friend. Well, maybe a little more Big Bang Theory niche than Friends, but still.
And Big Bang Theory, when we had that set at the store, we had it on a discount for a very long time, and it didn't really sell all that much.
Yeah.
Now it's getting to be worth more, which is weird. But yeah, I don't see that set. I see that set sitting on my shelf for a long time.
I would agree because I mean, it Friends was a little more widestream versus Seinfeld in some things, even though it was both must-see TV.
Well,
I
and
think now
Friends.
too that the resurgence of Friends' popularity is like it's.
Oh
all
yeah.
Oh, my son loves it, right? So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
Traveling
mean-
shows, reunion shows, prime
like
time
we're-
for Friends.
I would say if you look at these like the first set that came out of the DeLorean for the Back to the Future, I mean, we kind of clearanced the thing out. It wasn't like a razor hot seller. The Doctor Who set, you can see these today on Bricklink for 4 or 5 times what the retail price was.
Yeah.
And my hunch is that some of the people who come around and buy this set later on are people who aren't necessarily big Lego people, and they find out that there is a Lego set, and they just have to have it, and they have enough disposable income that they will go out and pay 4 times retail for that set 5 years, 6 years after it's available in stores. So
Well, a lot of Lego sets too that are big are just lasting a very long time. Like Assembly Square came out in 2016, I think, and that's still we get that all the time. I think Lego needs to decide to have some stuff just be like kind of online exclusive, because with how much we make, we physically can't fit it at stores. But
So one other comment that I heard from a person who shall not be named but works at a Lego retail store was that they said the Friends set was being bought almost exclusively by middle-aged women.
Well, my girlfriend's daughter, who is 13 years old, bought the Friends set.
Okay.
So I don't know how many teenagers or tweenagers are interested in Friends, but she was very excited about that.
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
All of
Yeah,
them.
like that's
I
pretty
can
accurate
tell
for
you
the
that
demographic.
My daughter, who is 13, has watched all 9 seasons no less than 4 times, and
What?
her
Big Bang Theory?
all of her friends have too. Like all 12 of them have.
Like
watched
Friends
it.
or Big Bang Theory?
Friends.
Friends.
They've
Friends
got
to
the shirts, they've got the mugs, like you name it.
Yeah. And Friends has now got second generation, maybe even third generation of watching it, whereas Big Bang Theory is still fairly new, and we've seen it, and maybe our kids have seen it, but it won't
It's-
hit that kind of popularity
But-
until the next generation sees it too.
But
It's
I
not-
think with
It's not
Friends,
worthy of that
it's-
much love.
With Friends, it's
I
actually
like that show,
it's actually the girls. It's actually the girls that are driving it, right?
Yeah.
With the Friends. So
Which I did not. Just to be clear, I didn't mention that as a pejorative thing. There's lots of things out there that primarily appeal to male buyers, but I think Lego as a company is trying to figure out. I mean, certainly you've seen it with Friends and Elves sets that would be attractive to female buyers, and it looks like this Friends licensed product is one of those things that is a big hit with female buyers. So, if they're trying to find the secret of the sauce of how to attract more female Lego buyers, well, certainly that set seems to have done it.
The apartment's
I'm
not
sorry,
as
man.
much.
I was looking up the word pejorative because you dropped a big word. And I was making sure I knew what that meant. So.
Isn't that one of the people on Star Trek, Bajoran? What?
Bajoran.
I took some pejorative last night. It'll work through the night, and I'll be free and clear in the morning. Anyway,
Put some Worcestershire sauce on your pejorative. It's better.
spun down. All right, so we kind of got off the topic of whether adults have saved Lego, or did Lego look to us as their or whatever, like this article seems to. Although I do appreciate the article's intent of going back and finding some relatively unknown names who are behind the scenes and in front of the scenes of a small community, and we've seen a lot of things grow out of that soil, and that's good. That was the adult fans causing that, not so much Lego doing that. I think Lego showing up, taking some interest was a little bit of fertilizer into that field. And I will tell you one thing, that initially when Lego was talking to adult fans, they looked at us as evangelists. That's what the term brand evangelist, that is what they wanted us to be. And in some ways they got that, but the evangelists though wanted to get paid or wanted to be recompensed, and Lego was like, no, we don't want to do that. So that led to some bumpy roads. But then what we're seeing is Lego, instead of being focused on community, I would say they're more focused on marketing and let the community do what it wants. And so, yeah, we're seeing what's happening now. I do like what Ant Bandit just said. I wonder in a few years if they'll have to remind people that the kids are welcome at Lego too. But I mean,
only if you like Batman and Spider-Man, then you're welcome.
Yeah, but if about Lego interacting with the community, I think in fairness to Lego, it was much easier to interact with community when it was based around Lugnet and a much, a handful of conventions. Yeah. Now, it's just all over the place, and where do you start? What is the community?
Well, I think Lego has learned they can take that focus of evangelism to even small and big YouTube channels and Twitch channels and stuff, and more power to them. Send them the sets early, they get all the reviews. I mean, and you and I, we all know that when a set comes out, we wake up and Facebook has article. I just reviewed, Lego sent me the new R2-D2, and I built it early, and I've already got it built and filmed and taken pictures of it. It's been waiting in the can to be released until 9:05 this morning, and so there's a lot of that. That's just good marketing on Lego's part. It looks like maybe they're interacting with the fans, and if they are, and those folks feel special, but it can feel cold to the rest of us going, I got to stand in line at the store and go get that. And I'm going to. And so, that feels maybe a little cold, but I'm glad there's the recognized media fans and stuff like that. So it's definitely a marketing relationship rather than a community relationship, in my opinion, now with Lego and fans. So
what was this about?
We're just summarizing a little bit. What are you going to say, Matt? Matt, what are you going to say?
So if you think the relationship between Lego and the Lego community is cold, let me invite you over to Star Wars Action Figure Land, where it is purely product dumping. They don't even announce the product sometimes. They just start showing up in stores. They have like a convention every couple of years where you have to stand in very long lines to maybe get a convention exclusive, and they charge you a lot of money. It is purely a part the fan with their dollar enterprise, and they make no bones about that's what they're doing. So since I dabble in both these worlds, Lego World feels warm and fuzzy compared to Action Figure World. So that's my perspective.
And try like the whole GI Joe thing. There's like blood in the streets. Yeah. Like I dropped out of that line so fast because it was just like there's YouTube videos of people like getting stabbed in Target. So like time to roll back from that.
All right. So we got a couple minutes. What makes the difference in the Lego community and their relationship with Lego versus Hasbro or whatever? What's different?
I think it's the community themselves. I am a bigger, warm, huggy feel with my Lego friends than I am with my other hobby collecting friends. I think that the community.
I think also too the thing that drives it, as far as I can see, like for the online communities, Star Wars, GI Joe, even some NECA, all that stuff. Everyone is really ticked off one another because they can't get their hands on product, and the people that do, they show it off, and the people that can't, they get mad. What Lego does is Lego makes their stuff available with minor exceptions. You can get what you want, right? Eventually. It may take you a couple weeks. But those other things, you miss it, you're gone.
And it's not like it's an exclusive.
No.
Yeah. No. That's the thing. I mean, at least with Lego, if there's an exclusive and you miss it, okay, well, I didn't go to San Diego, so all right, that's why I don't get it. But if it's, a Star Wars set, I mean, they didn't even show the freaking, there's no such thing as a peg warmer for Star Wars anymore.
Yeah, but it's
not many. No.
At least as far as G.I. Joe is concerned, they're juggling multiple lines and multiple scales, and you have different people who want different. Like I might want Lego to put out something they won't put out, but at least like they produce Lego bricks that I can buy and build my own. Right? It's not like Lego fans are divided between like people who are still into studs and people who are into some new version of Lego that is like 1 by 1 centimeter is a brick. And then
Bionicle is
another version of Lego that it would be like if minifigs had been replaced by mini dolls and 3 other kinds of figures, and some people wanted them to bring minifigs back and they didn't do it yet. It's that level of it's ridiculous.
And also, Lego bricks can be traded. You can swap figures. You can trade bricks. I feel like the sheer the fact that you can break things down and people swap things, like people buy and sell action figures on eBay, but there's no brick link of action figures because there might be people who buy and sell weapons or something, but you don't like break your figures down in arms and legs. But you can with minifigs, I mean, like
you shouldn't.
You
but
can
you
go
can.
to a convention and swap minifigs, and you can swap all kinds of stuff. And I actually think the product itself engenders more community. But I also feel that because Lego is doing a better job of not producing super scarce commodities, there's less clawing at the throat of your rival collector because they got the thing that you wanted and you can't complete your collection because of the super duper rare. I mean, just today, there were 4 action figures that rolled out on like Walmart.com. And, if you weren't on in the first hour, you didn't get one. And the pre-order is sold out. It's
and because they do that, it cuts down on the scalping. And scalping kills any hobby.
I don't think that cuts down on the scalping. I think it's enforced by the scalping.
For the Lego stuff.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The scalpers are bad initially, but it gets better and better as stuff's easier to find.
Which is interesting that you pointed out because I was talking to one of the store managers, and they were talking about like several releases where. Say this, I think it was the Friend set. I think that was an example. The Friend set came out and it was $64.19 was the exact, if you bought just that set. And they would have people come in and like, we're talking 12, 15 different times in a day, different people coming in, buying the Friend set and having the exact amount of money, including the change, or a gift card with the exact amount of money for that set. So I found that to be amazingly interesting. And what really made it funny was when he explained to me was, I think when that happened or while that was going on, there was a GWP that came out that if you bought that set, you actually ticked the GWP, and they would ask the customer, here the GWP, and the customer would be like, GW does not compute, do not give me. That's not part of what I was told to get. And I found that amazing, and that there are those scalpers who are doing exactly that scenario. It's hysterical.
Well, I think that the one thing for Lego is even if it's a Star Wars set, it's going to have a product cycle and they're going to produce it. And I think sounds like with Hasbro, they're like, here's 5 figures, too bad. You know, that kind of
thing.
they're
not taking into the production cycle at all. They'll release it and then they're done. Yeah. Where Lego at least is still rolling things out throughout the months.
And I think there's an inherent nature and value, especially if you're a builder, not a collector per se. And we are all varying levels of that.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm basically going to buy this clearance because I want the parts, not because I want the set. And there's that whole thing. And then if I don't want the figs like Matt over there, I can sell those to somebody who really wants them, and the market actually heals itself, I guess, or you know, the fan community kind of bumps through that. But I think the cooperative nature of the brick itself actually saves some of the toxicity. Not saying there is not some, there is some. But definitely not as bad as in those Hasbro World and all that kind of stuff. So, and there's also, I mean, even though we would say that there's some product quality degradation, I would say there's probably not as much as like in Transformers World and stuff like that. There's definite dips and variations in that you don't have with the
and all those G.I. Joe crotches that break from the 80s. That, I mean, bricks break every now and then, but it's not like you know, your Lego breaks and then like that.
If
Lego
it's blue or brown, it might break. But you know,
but in the thing that's also great about the Lego community in general, and Matt was kind of alluding to this with Bricklink, is that if you want to buy just parts, you have the option to not have to buy the set. You can just buy parts.
Yep.
And I think that also adds to healing the market and healing the things. That, you know, I don't got to go out and buy 12 copies of a specific set anymore because I'm looking for a specific part. I can just go buy that part.
Yep.
Can't do that for G.I. Joe, you know.
And if Lego's never made a certain Star Wars ship before,
you can build your own
yourself. That's the magic of, I guess that's some of the magic of the toy, which Lego forgot in 2003. They regained and through talking with Lego fans and stuff.
Which is no shade on Will, but you know, they were reaching that point of saying, you know, direct to play and not the building portion. And so now they've returned to their roots, and it's about building the set, not here's an action figure that can be taken apart.
As fun as this is, in my opinion, it's not fundamentally what you expect from Lego, right?
It's not Lego. I mean, it's Lego product, but it's not.
You can build it, but there's like 10 pieces total.
Can I tell you how disturbed I am by that face being half organic and half?
Oh yeah, no, it's wacky. It's rubber too with the eye, so that's a little rubbery target reticle. The tongue is also rubber.
Come on, Gil.
Little teeth are rubber. So.
Yeah, I'm just trying to process it.
If you push its butt, does it light up?
Not with that attitude.
See, this is the improvements that Lego has made over the.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
I mean, Lego could use a few more of these, but you know,
it kind of looks like sort of like yak face, and my Dyson vacuum cleaner had like a baby.
That is an accurate description, Gil. Yeah. That is an accurate description.
Yes, it is.
That's hilarious.
I'm concerned and amused at the same time.
Well, this has been a great conversation. This is definitely like being at Brick Fair and yakking around at the end of the night. We're excited that some of our friends are at Brick Rodeo. Jeff and those guys popped in the pre-show before we went live to say hello. They're having a good time there. It looks like they're having a good time. Next week, some of the folks in this chat are going to Brick Fair, Alabama. And I believe
Virginia.
Did I say Alabama? Virginia. I'm sorry.
Virginia.
You're on
Virginia.
autopilot. I get it.
Virginia. I am on autopilot. I'm ready to go on vacation. So this guy and this guy will be there. Rich will be there. Anybody else going to be there? No, I can't remember.
I wish.
I wish I
John,
could.
John Rudy. John Rudy.
John Rudy's going to be there.
Dan Rubin will be there.
Rich will be
Seamus
there.
will be there.
If
Nick will probably be
anyone
there.
watching this is at Brick Fair VA, come and say hello.
Look for the large Cobra Tower, and you'll find that guy right there.
I wish I could go and
Look
see
for
that.
the
in person.
buildings with color, and I'll be there.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Adam, are you not going with Christopher? I know Christopher's going. Just notice in the side chat. Bricker builds. There will be some Bricker builds there, so go look
he's
for
not
those.
going.
I think
The
that
Pikachu-
Adam is about to start some major, huge project. Maybe that's keeping him.
That might be the reason why.
I think Adam is already photographing a major, huge project.
Yeah, he's got a full calendar, I guess. If I
Yeah,
recall
I love how
correctly.
he's using y'all for benevolent slave labor too, sniffing the fumes and all that kind of stuff. So
You're making the assumption that we are not receiving a stipend.
no, I didn't say that, but anyway. Oh, he's going to be in Dallas shooting movie. Wait.
That's right. He's doing a movie.
Is that Dallas, Georgia, or Dallas, Texas? Because that means something.
I think he was dropping some hints earlier that it was Texas.
Oh, on the set of Matt Houston. Can't wait.
Sounds like Umbrella Academy season 2 to me. But
That's cool. By the way, if you have seen Black Widow, no spoilers, but it is filmed. The opening chunk of it is filmed in Rome, Georgia, where I used to live. So it's really awesome to see.
No, that's Ohio.
It's supposed to be
man.
Ohio. When they showed the Ohio, I'm like, no, them trees are from Georgia right there. Those are Georgia pines right there. And I was right.
You know what's funny is that all the stuff that used to be shot in like Toronto pre-COVID or whatever, it's all shot in Georgia now.
Yeah.
All the Marvel movies, they were all up here. Now they're all in Georgia.
my favorite was in the X-Files. In the X-Files, there's supposed to be a train that stops in Iowa. And there's like the Cascade Mountains in the background. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
there-
it's hilarious.
there are no mountains in Iowa. I have been there.
Like, and you know that it's constantly raining. It should be a tip of the hat that you're outside of Vancouver.
There are
I mean,
more
everything
movies-
for Seattle is filmed in Vancouver. So
And if
There
there's
are
a
more
movie based in DC and it's using like a metro system that's clearly not the DC Metro, it's impossible to take that seriously for anyone who's like taking the DC Metro.
Yeah.
There's more being filmed in Georgia now than there is in California.
Yep, I would agree. When you see Missouri in the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that's a power plant like 10, 15 miles away from here. We passed it all the way going to Mel's restaurant and everything. So it's super
Or
fun.
we're watching Stranger Things, and Thomas is like, that's Decatur's police station.
Well, I mean,
I was
the-
like,
the
how
Gwinnett
do you
Mall.
know what that looks like? He goes, I've driven past it. I'm like,
The Gwinnett Mall. That was the mall in Stranger Things season 2. That mall was the Gwinnett Place Mall.
Yep.
It's like 15 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's nothing else in Gwinnett Place Mall, so they could film.
Exactly. And they're
So-
using it again in season 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Canada is still being used for filming because apparently Mila Kunis and the girl from Pitch Perfect, I can't think of her name now, the lead in
Anna
that one.
Kendrick?
They're both filming movies in Toronto and in Cottage Country area. Like they've been seen in Peterborough and Toronto and
Oh,
stuff.
that's right. There was some article
They
about
were-
the town
they
is
were across the
reopened
street
because
from
Mila
my,
Kunis was
from my
back.
friend's house, like down the street here in like
Yeah.
one of the parks. Yeah.
It is still happening here. It's just not as much as Georgia.
I blame Joey Pants. He drove the business out of here, man.
The Avengers headquarters is the car world headquarters down by the airport in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep. The Hank Pym Pym's building or whatever used to be the archives, and now it's gone. They blew that building up. But
Yes.
I thought it wasn't also. I think Mark was telling me that Loki is one of the big hotels there. Right?
Yeah, the
And
Georgia
TVA.
Hotel. Yeah.
No.
I think
That is the
hotel.
heart and soul of Dragon Con is the TVA.
Right.
I think that's the hotel.
That's
Greg
hilarious.
Heinrich and I stayed in when we were in.
And it's
Georgia.
also in the Hunger Games in the third
Yep.
movie.
It is.
Yeah.
When they're
Yeah.
rappelling down, that's the hotel that Dragon Con happens.
Well, even the elevator scene when the girl takes off her clothes, that's the glass elevators in the Hyatt. Or the
Those
Hilton.
glass
The Marriott.
elevators are famous or infamous depending upon your perspective.
Yeah.
True.
You guys are going to attract the bots back in again.
All right, so we'll let it go. We've gone. All right, we were right at 2 hours. So starting in a minute, Boone will be having his show begin. So if you guys are watching us, we'd love for you to go raid and say that you've been over here. Boone was asking me some technical questions about StreamYard, so I'm hoping that's going to help him out. So make sure you head over there and check out Boone and hang out at his show. The show's always awesome. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's been a great night, and we will not. We'll have the Monday show, but we will not have the Thursday show. A lot of us are on vacation or whatever. But Jeff may be doing something on Thursday, so check out Jeff Vinden's channel on Thursday night next week for that. But there will be a Messy Monday. Mark's going to run that, and maybe on Jeff's show we'll get some folks calling in from Brick Fair, Virginia. Have a great night, everybody. Get a shot if you haven't had one. Wear a mask if you haven't had one, and for crying out loud, be kind.
What kind of shot?
I don't care. One that's helpful.